This is Fish Tenners from the Sith Strike Team, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast. This show was recorded in front of a live studio audience. You should know that Scotty and Paul don't like you. They're wanted men, and they have the death sentence on 12 systems.
One is a territory war specialist from Australia. The other is a territory battle tactician from the U.S. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with over a combined 45 years of entertainment under their belt, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The CFH Network presents the Escape Pod cast, a weekly show about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Scotty McLaren and Paul Anthony.
Well, we are back after an unscheduled week off, and we've got lots to catch up on. We found out who Darth Mevan was. Hastag ScottyZetaRose. Quality of life. Territory battles improvements. The rise of the Sith Empire and their reworks. We get our sheets together with the Blackened from the squad builder sheet. And advice for all those not Revan Ready. Today on this info-packed edition of the Escape Podcast. But look, before we begin, and look, we've got to do this. We've got to send our thoughts and prayers and condolences and attention to the people of Christchurch in New Zealand.
Yeah, in this world of constant connection and communication around the world, and as a digital and worldwide citizen that we are, we condemn and admonish the acts of the few who feel it necessary to claim the lives of those who differ in religion, viewpoints, and race. This world has no place for hate.
That's right. And look, while we bring laughter and entertainment to you guys every week, we also feel it's necessary to remind our listeners as well, and the world, that it is up to us to make the world around us a little bit of a better place, and to make sure that the change that we want to see in the world is out there. So please join us to the best of your ability, wherever you are, in a moment of silence for the lives lost in this horrible act of intolerance. Alrighty, the time has come where we talk about all things news for this week, Paul, and look, so much going on inside the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Scotty hashtag ScottyZetaRose movement gained a ton of momentum last weekend as the announcement from Capital Games grew even nearer and nearer. And it started as a bet with Cubs fan Han and yourself as to who was coming to the game first. Now, of course, you were convinced that it would be Darth Malik, and yep. Cubs was convinced that it would be Darth Revan. So following the announcement earlier this week, did you happen to have to Zeta Rose Tico?
You bet I did. I certainly did. Rose is now Zated, and I'm pretty upset about that too, guys, just quietly. It's made me cry. But yeah, no, she's certainly been Zated, and I actually shared that with all of you guys as well in the chats, and yeah, crazy stuff. Look, I dare say I reckon that, I'll probably never doubt you and Cubs fan Han again, I think, Paul.
I called that that the bounty hunter ships were coming. I called the fact that it was going to be C-3PO and it was Ewoks in the thing. Stop doubting the prognostication pagoda.
Oh, you're 100% right, mate. I probably should. But anyway, look, we all know that now Darth Revan is coming to this game. And that means that Darth Mevan is pretty much a no-go from now on. So, look, Paul, I want to throw this over to you, man, because, look, Capital Games, they've actually said that this event's going to be very difficult. And I don't expect it to be as easy as what Jedi Knight Revan was. So, what do you think we should do in terms of preparation for our characters, mate? I mean, and where are you sitting at the moment when it comes to the preparation? Are you gear 12ing anyone? What are you doing?
Oh, man, I am trying to gear 12 things. Uh-oh, I just realized I didn't do my fleet battles. Oh, well. So I've got Bastila Fallen. I've got her at 11. I've had HK-47 sitting at 10 for the longest time. I was able to get Karth. So I've got all of them 7-star. I've got Karth sitting at gear 9, almost to gear 10. I've got Juhani at 9, and I've got Canderous sitting at 9. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all, to be honest with you. I think that it will be a gear 9, not gear 7 like JKR was. I think Darth Revan, or as in the more fun way that I've heard his name, Dr. Evan.
Dr. Evan.
Dr. Evan. I think that Dr. Evan is going to be viable to get with good mods, not God mods, good mods, and at gear 9. And if I'm wrong, I have that week. Well, do I? I mean, thinking about it, they're delaying Darth Revan.
They are, and that's what makes me think, kind of, that, I reckon that we're going to need to have our characters very high, especially HK-47. He's been around for quite some time. I think we're going to need at least a Gear 12 HK-47. I've got mine at Gear 12. I also think as well that we're probably going to need Bastila Fallen up to Gear 12, especially for when you do get Darth Revan. You're going to need her in that team. And, of course, with the Sith Empire coming to the game, which is now Sith Marauder, we've also got the Sith Trooper and Sith Assassin that are going to be getting those tags as well. I think that what we're going to need is we're going to need all of those at Gear 12. But then, yeah, I think that we're going to be fighting Karth and Juhani as well. And I feel as if we're going to have to need probably around that same gear level of what we had for Old Ben when it came to the CLS event. You know, when they went head-to-head against each other with, Old Ben taking on Darth Vader. I feel as if that's something that we're going to be seeing.
Well, how about this? What if for all those people that are gearing Karth and gearing Juhani up really high, they have to fight their own Karth and Juhani?
Oh, no. That is not cool. That is not cool. I would hate that. That is not cool. Yeah, no, that would be terrible. If you've got to fight your own Karth and Juhani. My Karth's at Gear 11, and my Juhani's just about to go to Gear 11. That would suck. I would hate that.
Yeah. How's that Zeta on Karth looking now?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk more about the Karth Zeta a bit later on in the show. But, look, I've got to mention as well that what CG Carrie actually mentioned. She actually had a direct quote here. She says that Darth Revan is among the largest of the journey events, in brackets, that we have done in the past. So therefore, this is going to be pretty big, man. This is going to be a pretty awesome journey event, and I hope that it's one of those that we might be able to get to relive again later on, if once we've got Darth Revan, if it's a cool event. I mean, like that first one, that Jedi Revan one, I mean, I'd like to redo that at some point, because I really had fun doing that one.
I would love to do all of these different journey events all over again. The lightsaber in Rey's journey, the Old Ben versus Vader fight in the Luke journey. I mean, they were all great. And I think that this is probably going to be like a 10-parter. And which also means good rewards. Don't forget that. You get rewards for each piece you get to. So maybe some of these rewards are actually going to help you gear up the characters that you need to unlock it. It's definitely... well, not definitely, but most likely going to be the gear that you need.
Yeah, I think
to level up Dr. Evan.
100%, man. And look, with Dr. Evan as well, I feel as if guys, you've got to keep watching your events as well, channel. You've got to keep watching that, because according to CG Carrie, she says while we normally push a build up and schedule the event for 24 hours plus later, they're actually going to be pushing up the build and turning on the event almost immediately. So you know what this means? We're not going to get a ping that the thing's out. We're just going to have to keep checking that this thing is up there.
Oh, no. We're going to get a ping, and then the game will crash because everybody's going to log in.
So, yeah, they're saying that they're aiming for as early as next week that we'll be able to start farming Dr. Evan. But we'll have to wait and see as to when this comes up. But, mate, the kit for Dr. Evan was actually released earlier this week. And what are your initial thoughts?
I'm absolutely loving it. But, we already have been talking to some of our listeners, and they've been asking, what's going to take priority when it comes to things like isolate, when it comes to things like fracture? They can't, their kits say they can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted, but it is a debuff. Meanwhile, the corrupted battle meditation says that they cannot apply debuffs. What takes precedence? I jokingly said that the one that they paid the most money for.
Look, this is a tough question. I mean, look, I think what we might see is, I think Thrawn could certainly be a part of a counter team for them, especially if you've got Fracture on Darth Revan. It could happen, but oh, geez, I don't know, man. I think that there's going to be a lot of people in the community that are going to be out there trying to find different counters. I mean, how good would it be if it was General Grievous? But it won't be. But how good would it be for all those Grievous fans, you included, Paul? That would be pretty awesome.
And the thing is, I'm not even that much of a Grievous fan, if you will. But I drank the Kool-Aid. I will fully admit it. I drank the Kool-Aid because of the rework of General Grievous, because I spent all that time farming characters I already had to get Shard Shop currency to get General Grievous, because I thought that he was going to be such a game changer and was so let down. And then also those huge pulls from the crystal packs when I was just screwing around and spending a little money just to get them to 6 stars to help my territory battle teams.
Absolutely. But look, this is what it's going to do, the kit. And, it's basically focused on taking out enemy leaders and using ferocity, which sacrifices allies' defensive capabilities for more offense. So you might want to be looking for Sith Trooper in that role where it's, it is a tank, and you might want to be seeing the Sith Trooper getting taunt, and then you might want to lose him so that you can get that more offense on Revan. And it is the first character who uses debuffs to boost their own team's advantage, which is a fitting theme for a bit of a ruthless faction as well, and something else as well that you might want to look at when you do unlock Darth Revan. According to the developers, they say that they've actually had the most success with Darth Revan when Bastila Shan Fallen went first in battle. So they're saying try moving your mods around to make sure that she's the first to act if you are having trouble. And the guys recommend using your Zeta on Conqueror first. This really shuts down assist teams when they attack Revan and greatly improves survivability during a long fight. Basically, you can say goodbye to the Jedi Revan meta, I think, right here, right now, Paul. It's gone.
I would agree, and I'm just hoping that there is a viable counter. If I end up being able to get Darth Revan, I am hoping that there will be a counter just to be able to see that something can take that down, something else can take that down, and it truly is the paper, rock, scissors meta that we deserve. Yeah. And I don't say that we deserve that in such a good way, like I deserve cake later today. We deserve anything that creates a shakeup in the top of the arena ranks for how long we had this monotonous and irritating Knights of the Old Republic Jedi Knight Revan meta at the top of the arena shard.
Look, man, I agree with you, but I'll also say this, man, that Darth Trail was probably at the top of the arena shard for longer than what Darth Revan was. And that was annoying as well. So, look, I don't know. I feel as if that whatever comes next, we've got to find something that's going to be a little bit better, I feel as if. And, look, HK-47, he's got his rework. He now interacts with Deathmark. His assassination protocol will occur much faster under Darth Revan's leadership. Fallen Bastilla had the additional ability to synergize with Darth Revan. Her special 2 is now using the Fear debuff, and she has a new unique ability as well, which is Force Bond, that directly boosts both herself and Darth Revan as well. So I feel as if, that they're the triumvirate. They are, of course, the new triumvirate. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how this plays out, Paul. But I feel as if we're going to be seeing Darth Revan probably at the top of the meta for a little bit longer, so to speak. So, probably until the second time around.
So just help me out here. You have the numbers in front of you.
Yeah.
I believe, on the kit for Darth Revan. Mm-hmm. What is the debuff that he gives, and what's the percentage? For some reason, I didn't have it in my notes, and I'm sorry.
Okay. He actually gives a fair bit, actually, when it comes to
it's like
taking
8%. It's like minus 8% health or something like that.
Something
and
like
it's
that,
5 stacks of it.
Yeah, that's right. If you've got an entire Sith Empire team, which is what you need. So if you've got Darth Traya in your lineup, he's not going to get those debuffs. So that's what you want. You want to have the entire Sith Empire squad.
I'm worried about, you mentioned having the Sith Trooper in there. So you've got an entire Sith Empire team. That Sith Trooper, he may die and Revan gets the whole boost, but that also makes the rest of the team squishy. That's what I'm worried about with the high damage output teams. They're going to become a glass cannon just like CLS.
Well, yes, but having said that, Sith Marauder, when we have seen in those early videos when it first came to the game, the Sith Marauder, the amount of big damage that thing could put out. Now, this is probably where we're going to start seeing that finally with the Sith Marauder, that 99,000 damage in just one hit. Taking out entire teams with all those debuffs that are up there. I feel as if that might be the thing, actually. So watch this space, Paul. Watch this space, man. Watch this space.
Yeah. You won't believe what happens next.
Exactly. But, mate, we need to talk about the Darth Devlin packs. What's going on there?
Yeah, all of the Darth Delaven packs, as I called them.
Yes.
So, when they announced that they were doing all these wacky packs that you could buy when it first came out, like the Droideka. The Droideka no longer was $9.99; it was $10.99, right? Yeah. Or not $10.99; it was $19.99 US dollars. I don't know how much that turns into Aussie money.
45.
But, yeah, I still don't get your math over there. The exchange rate's terrible in this game for you, and I don't know how you afford to play it, but that's another story. But they're also giving you the crystals. They're giving you about 1,000 crystals, a 10-pack of crystals. So, do you remember The Simpsons with the cursed monkey paw?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have to pay $20 to get this. That's bad. But it comes with 3 crystals. That's good. But the crystals are the crappy pack. That's bad. But it comes with the choice of free Frogurt. That's good.
I don't like how they've done this, though, where they've got, look, it was always going to happen, though, I suppose, like where Bastilla, who's been out for quite some time, is actually paired up with Juhani, and then you've got the 2 blokes together, Karth and the other one, Canderous. They're both together.
I loved it. I loved it, though, Scotty, because I stopped my Bastilla Fallen farm. I stopped that at 50, and then I was going for Juhani at that point. And then when it was Basti and Juhani, I was like, jackpot.
All right. Well, look, we need to take a break, and coming up in just a tick, we're going to talk more about the quality of life updates that we've seen. But Paul's going to lead the discussion straight up, though, with the territory battles updates, which is going to be quite interesting. So stick around. This is the Escape Podcast.
Hey, come here. I want you to listen very carefully to what I'm going to tell you. We both know I ordered an account remodel, and now you insult me and my entire family by offering me this, whatever this is. I'm going to offer you a chance to make amends. Capiche?
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Thank you.
Pimpo the Modfather. He'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Contact Pimpo Modfather at gmail.com or on Discord at PEEMPO, number 9337. Pimpo the Modfather.
Thank you.
Like what you hear on the Escape Pod cast? Want to support Scotty and Paul? Then sign up to be a Patreon. For as low as $2 a month, you can help them launch escape pods for months to come. Visit patreon.com/theescapepod to sign up. Support us today.
The Escape Pod cast with Scotty McLaren and Paul Anthony. The Escape Pod cast news.
Yes, as we continue on with some of the big stuff that has been announced, especially for this week when it comes to a number of things that have come our way. Paul, I want you to discuss for us, mate, the major territory battles updates which have been happening. How do you see this as the territory battles officer and a man that's good with numbers?
Oh, man. Now that every single phase, the platooning, is set in stone, not only do I luckily get to tell my fellow territory battle officers to be able to take a break and not sacrifice their lunch to manually enter every single phase 4, 5, and 6, with it being set in stone, we can now look forward and look ahead. With that being said, we're going to be talking to somebody about spreadsheets in a moment. His name's Blackened. He's from the Squad Builder spreadsheet. His spreadsheet, as we mentioned in the interview, is based off of the original territory battle spreadsheet by Tigor. And for those of you who have never touched this spreadsheet, don't mess with Echo Base or anything like that. You need to you need to tell your territory battle officer to get with this spreadsheet. I'm cheap plug here as far as the Patreon. Last Lightside Territory Battle, I took my guild that we started at 32 stars when I started taking over territory battles. As our rosters grew, as our experience grew, I took us for the first time to 45 stars last week, or the week before.
Brilliantly done too.
Thank you. And we did it with nearly the minimal amount of galactic power. And it's all on my guild for doing that. It's all on Yavin 4 for coming together, working together, and doing a great job. So really quick, selflessly, thank you to you guys for doing that. With that being said, the territory battle officers use this spreadsheet, and they have to manually enter phases 4, 5, and 6 because it's randomly generated from the game. Not every single guild gets the same thing. So you're sitting there with nothing, not being able to find out what you have to deploy for like the first 15, if it's a solo territory battle officer, for 30 minutes. With that, I've skimmed through it, and I don't see more than 2 of any difficult ship to find. So I do see that there's the 2 galactic chase ships. There's the shuttle, and then there's the Ebon Hawk. Luckily, another one of our guys totally went berserk on this, and they also have a 7-star Hawk. I did end up with a 7-star Hawk.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm 96 away from the shuttle, so we will not be able to complete every single ship platoon, but the next time that the shuttle comes around on another chase, I will have that. What also I noticed is you need multiple B1s and Droidicas coming up in this next event, or next platoon group. Phases 5, you need like 3, 4 each, but phase 6 you only need 2 to 3 of each. That's gonna hurt some guilds because they won't get the full bonus.
But it'll stay like that, though, will it not?
But it's going to stay like this. And the fact that it stays like this allows your territory battle officers and anybody that helps to be able to give you a good, accurate snapshot of what your guild can do. Ours, is going to be able to hit 47 stars if things go the way that they should for this Darkside territory battle. I'm very proud of that, and I look forward to hitting that. And that will also be... I don't know if we hit it last time. I think we did, but if we didn't, we've got it this time, and that's one less star to go until we have every single star and we get both titles, and that will be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll tell you, there's some awesome updates as well in this new update as well. We've now got leadership, which is now actually being thrown in there, that leadership tag, which is about time we see that. I actually forgot that old Dakar had a leadership ability, but that was great to see. Also, Grand Arena, we're no longer going to be seeing those matches where people forget to deploy their defenses, so that's good. They're actually going to put out a loadout, which is fantastic. And I'm loving the fact that we now know who the Jawas are.
Finally. But hey, did you have an opponent that did not deploy?
I did, yes. I came up against the first one just yesterday, and it was quite interesting, actually, the teams that suddenly all came together. Very, very weird. It was the weirdest thing.
I've got my list. I've got my list. I had a Kylo Ren, standard Kylo Ren, with 3 Ewoks and a Hermit Yoda.
Wow. That's sensational.
I had an Emperor Palpatine with Thrawn, Mother Talzin, Boba Fett, and Zam Wessel. It came down to 1-on-1 in that. That was actually a really good match. I stumbled on an auto deploy.
Yeah.
And it was JTR lead with Scion, Bosk, Nihilus, and CLS. Scion and Bosk were juggling taunts back and forth. Nihilus was annihilating, and CLS was just counterattacking, and JTR was turn manipulating.
Wow.
I mean, you could get some good theory crafting practice facing opponents that don't give a crap.
For sure, man, for sure. Hey, look, we've got to get to the news, so make sure that you hang around. This is the Escape Podcast.
Live from Tatooine, this is the Tuscan News Network. Let's go live with breaking news with Arlen Donna.
This is Arlen Donna reporting live from Tatooine, where the search for Chief Nebit and the mod salvage pieces has now come to a close. A short time ago, Chief Nebit was apprehended by bounty hunters Zuckuss and 4LOM, and he has been handed over to the authorities. Police say that Zuckuss and 4LOM tracked Nebit and his followers to a cave not far from Mos Eisley Spaceport. A dramatic battle took place, and unfortunately, Nebit was the only survivor. Inside the cave, police reports claim that they found master plans for raids against the Empire's HAAT tanks and Jabba's Rancor. The Coruscant Underworld Police says Nebit wasn't working alone. So who is the mastermind behind these mod salvage pieces going missing? If the cops are right, this case has become an Imperial matter. Imperial officers will land on Tatooine tomorrow to question Nebit to determine if this is indeed an Imperial matter. Nebit will be charged with collusion of justice, theft, implanting poisonous toxins into droids, illegal trading, and potential terrorist charges. If found guilty, he stands to face the death penalty. Chief Nebit will face the Galactic Courts of Justice at a later date. We will provide more breaking news as it happens. This is Arlen Donna for the Tuscan News Network.
Live from Tatooine, this is the Tuscan News Network.
This is Cubs fan Han, and you're listening to the Escape Podcast.
Like what you hear on the Escape Podcast? Want to support Scotty and Paul? Then sign up to be a Patreon. For as low as $2 a month, you can help them launch Escape Pods for months to come. Visit patreon.com/the Escape Pod to sign up. Support us today.
Well, it certainly is a big account. It's a very big account. Big fluffy account.
Some account places give you a lot less beef for your mods.
Where's the beef?
At Pimpo the Modfather, he serves up an account that you can be proud of. He beefs up your account so you won't be asking,
Hey, where's the beef?
you want something better. Contact Pimpo Modfather at gmail.com or on Discord at PEEMPO number 9337.
Oh, I don't think there's anybody back there. Where's the beef?
You're Pimpo's kind of people. Get beefed up today.
I got the beef.
Hey there, it's Xylo Takedown from Takedown Games, and you're listening to the Escape Podcast.
Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission.
And welcome to the incoming transmission this week. I am absolutely pumped to introduce you guys to this week's guest. The one, the only Blackened from Squad Builder Sheets. Blackened, who the hell are you?
Man, I'm just a carpenter from Dallas, Texas. You know, I just kind of I fumbled into this spreadsheet making thing, and here I am.
Now, look, man, it's good to see that you've put your skills to the test, man. Like, especially with being a carpenter. I mean, I didn't think that carpenters knew how to use spreadsheets, brother.
Can hardly log into the computer. But no, you know, I use them a little bit for my work, but you know, nothing like most of these guys that are doing these spreadsheets, like, you know, Pop Goes the Wizza and, you know, Cronulla and all my other contributors, Dark Phoenix Sniper, Drackler, guys. You know, most of these guys, that's what they do. You know, they're on a computer all day and they're working on spreadsheets or, you know, whatever. They're in IT in some form. And, you know, I'm from day to day, I'm out in the shop cutting wood. You know, when I can, I sneak in and I do a little work on a spreadsheet, and I actually have a computer out in the shop that I'll sit there and just kind of stare at all day and kind of brainstorm while I'm working.
Yep.
But yeah,
well, you do probably do. Yeah, you do probably do a lot of, you know, computer-aided design in carpentry, I believe. Would that be a safe guess? So, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing of using a computer to get better end results is absolutely not foreign to you. So, you wanting to do better overall, the sheet that you work with, and we'll get to this in a second, but the sheet that you work with can improve your game a lot, and that's why I'm so excited to have you on. You know, why don't you go ahead and clue in if our listeners have never ever looked at this sheet or even looked for something of this sort. Tell us, what does this sheet do?
Well, it started off as just a way for me to store my raid teams. I was constantly, every single time, and you know, I'm not a big guild, or, you know, too strong of a guild. I think we're like 150, 160 GP, somewhere in there, million GP. So anyways, most of these guys can obviously solo the Rancor, and probably half of them or more can solo HAAT anymore. And we buzz through the Sith raid pretty quickly. But anyways, getting to the point, I forget what the teams are. Every single time I go into phase 2 of the tank, I'm like, crap, you know, what team do I need? So, and I'm not saying this like trying to sell the sheet. You know, obviously I'm not selling, I'm not making money or anything. I honestly was constantly forgetting. So I would go to a spreadsheet and I started making this list of all the teams, and I put next to it, okay, this is for, you know, whatever. And started making this list. And then I thought, well, you know, I need to make it more dynamic. You know, I want to be able to select which raid it's going to be. And then I want to be able to select what phase. Next thing you know, I've got like 6 different tabs full of all this data, and, you know, it just kind of really exploded.
Blackened, like, that's really cool, man. Like, you know, that you've managed to do this, because it started to get shared around with guilds left, right, and center. And I know that Paul, in our own guild, actually, he is obsessed with these sheets because he loves them like no tomorrow. And he continues to tell me, man, oh, man, Scotty, you got to see this sheet. You got to see this sheet. I've never seen anyone get so excited over an Excel spreadsheet in my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you haven't seen me. I mean, I'm psyched about it. I'm really pumped. And the more it grows, the more the other contributors are getting more involved and, contributing their own ideas. And I've had to poll my server quite a few times. And actually, I kind of spam Reddit here and there, asking them to get on there and, give me some suggestions, because I start drawing a blank. I get so, tunnel vision on one thing. I'm like, well, now what do I need to do? So, that's been really good. All these guys are starting to give me some ideas, and, Paul's giving me a laundry list of things that he's done for the,
Why am I not surprised? Yeah.
But no, it's awesome, and I appreciate that. I don't feel bogged down or weighed down by it. I'm just like, awesome. Here's something for me to work from. I've got all these checklists that I need to get checked off, and it's cool. I appreciate it.
Well, you spamming Reddit was the reason why I actually found your sheets. That's a great thing. If people are on our Discord server, they know that my avatar is a little yellow spaceman from the Lego movie who loves spaceships. So when Scotty was saying that Paul loves spreadsheets, you could think of me as a little blue spaceman that likes spreadsheets. So I'm sitting there. Well, do you want to make a spreadsheet? Spreadsheet!
So, look, Blackened, the thing about this, man, is that I'm really excited about is that these guys you guys have been doing a fair bit of work with territory battles. And this is where guild to guild have been sharing your sheets around, and they've been doing it for their own guilds. But the most exciting thing is, though, man, is that you guys are now doing the sheets now for Territory Wars and Grand Arena. How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, nobody really had a Grand Arena sheet. I mean, Grand Arena is still, relatively new, but it's obviously, very similar to Territory Wars on a smaller scale. But, there are several things that prompted me to start working on this sheet, and Territory Wars was one of them. I started getting interested in the Territory Wars spreadsheets right around the time the API switched over, and all of these great Territory War sheets like Chronolos, and there's another one by, I believe his name is Cert. They both had these awesome Territory War sheets that were broken. Like, they didn't work anymore. You couldn't refresh your guild information. Yeah. So they were essentially just useless. Yeah. So I started bugging Chronolo. I'm like, hey man, when are you gonna redo this thing so it'll incorporate, use the new API? And he's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to it. So then I started bugging this Cert guy. Hey man, when are you going to? And then I'm going all around. I'm searching frantically for a new and improved sheet, and nobody has it. Nobody wants to redo their old one. And, all the attention was going to territory battles. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just have to figure it out and come up with my own idea.
Now, that's what excites me, Paul. That's what excites me.
Well, so here's the thing is that, Blackened, you don't take really much credit besides being the director, the executive producer, if you will, of this sheet, because this sheet is built out of the territory battle sheet that I love so very, very much by Pop. By Pop Goes the Wizard.
Right.
So how does it work? How does the sheet work for all those people that are wondering? Because I think that this is the main thing, really. I mean, there'd be a number of guilds that are still in development, or perhaps even mid to end game guilds that are probably not even looking at your sheet, man. How does it work?
I can kind of answer that for you a little bit, Blackened, on how the sheet works for the in layman's terms here. So there's the thing, you mentioned the words API. That is a way for us to pull data from the game, from the engine that the developers of the game allow users to do. And with that information, you can pull the GP of a person. You could pull the gear of a different unit. You could pull all sorts of numbers. And with that, the sheet will go in. When it's platoon time for territory battles, it's going to find the lowest GP person, and it's going to slot them right into there. And so on and so forth, all throughout every single platoon unit.
Wow.
And as we mentioned in the open of this show, now just released all the information for platoons 4, 5, and 6. So it's going to become even easier now. With that being said, for territory wars, you need the opposite, and that's where Blackened sheets comes into. Yeah. That might actually be the new name, Blackened sheet.
Right.
But what that is doing is you are selecting a team, and it's giving you all of your members who have that team that you're building, the squad you're building, squad builder sheets, and it's going to tell you who has the best one.
That's awesome.
And go ahead, Scotty.
And that's what's so good about this community as well. I love that everyone is keen to share. We're all happy to share and everything like that. But look, man, I've got to ask you, Blackened, because you've sold me, brother. Where do I go to get the sheet? What's going on? How do I get it?
Well, it's a Google sheet, and obviously it has to be run on Google Sheets. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. You can't download it and store it on your own machine and run it that way. Because it uses Google App scripts, it just won't work. You can see some stuff, but it won't pull the API, that kind of thing. But I guess the easiest way to find it is find my Discord server, which I know you guys have posted on your server, and then it's just
should be posted now and show links.
Yeah. So, and then just there's a link on my server to get to it. And, I can even share the direct link with you guys to share on your server.
Fantastic.
Directly.
That's awesome. So, look, guys, make sure that you go to that link in the description below. Head over to Blackened and go and check out these amazing sheets. They are sensational. I never thought that I'd be getting excited about sheets like you do, Paul, but we have. So, there we go.
Yeah, it's quite okay because I'm loving these sheets. And that's actually part of the little things that we do in Patreon is I'm willing to show you how to use it. So don't be shy. Ask, because we're more than happy to support the community.
Exactly right, Paul. And speaking of which, mate, we're going to get into the bridge very, very soon. But first, let's get into the Escape Pod for Kids.
Back to school. The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's Scotty McLaren here, and look, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tip as a bit of a precursor to an entire show that we're going to be doing as an Escape Podcast for kids. Now, look, there's been a lot of people that have actually been coming to me that are actually mid-game players or even new players that have contacted me, and they've actually said to me, should we go all out on chasing the meta? Well, this means basically going after the likes of Darth Revan, but not really completing the characters that have been required for that event and half finishing them to then move to the next meta. Basically, there's a few people that have kind of left Jedi Training Rey to the side and have just gone chasing other things, or they've decided to leave Commander Luke Skywalker to the side as they've gone and chased other things. Now, look, basically, your roster is a whole bunch of half-done characters. Should you really be doing this? Well, as Admiral Akbar says, it's a trap! Well, the biggest piece of advice to you is that if you haven't started the Darth Revan farm just yet, or you've decided, oh my goodness, look at all of this stuff that's going on with Darth Revan and Darkside Bastilla. Oh, look, I'm just sick and tired of this Jedi Revan team. I need to go chasing that. Oh, look, I haven't finished my Jedi Training Rey farm just yet. Commander Luke Skywalker, I've kind of left him in the side. Sound familiar? Now, look, the biggest piece of advice that I can give to you is that if you haven't started your Darth Revan farm, or you've only just begun to start it, well, I reckon what you should do is you need to work in with your guild and find out what characters you really need to help progress together. Whether that be for the heroic tank, the Sith Raid, Territory Wars, or perhaps even Grand Arena. If you want my opinion, I'd be saying go after the teams that work in Territory Wars, so therefore you can get the good rewards in Grand Arena. Sacrifice your arena shard payout every day to then focus on the ships, so therefore you're going for the Zetas. Work out your team compositions with your guild, and then find out what you need to do to become a highly successful guild based around your GP that you currently have. Work on one character cadence at a time and get what you need. Don't suddenly go, oh, look, I've kind of started my Night Sisters, but now I'm over here because I'm trying to chase this. Finish what you've begun. As Kylo Ren says, I will finish what you started. Now, this game has a tendency for making you want things now. That's understandable, especially when there's so much hype for what's new. Also, don't worry about the overinflation of your roster, especially when it comes to Grand Arena, because you're building towards a goal with both your roster and your guild in mind. Now, you'll find a lot more success this way than trying to go it on your own. Granted, there are a lot of characters that are needed for territory battles where you're basically trying to just whack them in the platoons anyway, so therefore you're inflating your roster. But when it comes to those sorts of characters, just get them to 7-star, don't equip any materials to them, but then focus all of your gear down on all of the characters that are required that are actually pretty good. Therefore, you're helping your guild in both matters, with territory battles and also territory wars. If you want more information on this, or you've got any questions, well, just ask us in the lobby.
Back to school. The Escape Pod, cast for kids. It's really cool.
The Escape Pod cast with Scotty, McLaren and Paul Anthony.
The Coruscant Underworld Police often question him just because they find him interesting. His account alone has experienced more than a lesser man's entire body. His mod salvage pieces smell like cologne. He has the most interesting mods in the world. He'll always mod your accounts, and he is Peepo the Modfather. Contact Peepo the Modfather at peepomodfather@gmail.com or on Discord at PEEMPO number 9337. Get modded, my friends.
Yes! Like what you hear on the Escape Pod cast? Want to support Scotty and Paul? Then sign up to be a Patreon. For as low as $2 a month, you can help them launch Escape Pods for months to come. Visit patreon.com/The Escape Pod to sign up. Support us today.
Hey everyone, it is the heartthrob of the Outer Rim, your boy Urs, and you are listening to the Escape Pod cast with Paul Anthony and Scotty McLaren. Boys, I think I speak for all of us when I say you are hot, you are red hot.
The Escape Pod cast. The Bridge.
Welcome back to the Escape Podcast, and look, it was nice to do that first ever little segment there as well with Escape Podcast for kids as well. That was sensational, Paul.
Yeah, as my
very nice.
As my Fleet Arena timer goes off in the background as we come back. Yeah, I'm excited for what we have in store. I'm not going to spoil it. But we have, I will say that we have one of the premier guests for new players that I would recommend to any new player right now booked. I'm really hoping it comes through. We've got him booked, and I'm looking forward to sharing this one with you. But the Escape Pod cast for kids, wait till you hear the intro. It's adorable.
Oh, isn't it just? Isn't it just? Hey, mate, look, before the break, we were talking about those teams that, of course, you've come up against in the Grand Arena. But I wanted to actually talk about Carthanasi and those Darth Revan teams that, we've got to farm, or perhaps even the Jedi Revan teams that you got to farm. Do they have a use outside of the farms for trying to get those characters? Well, Mate, I've actually found a couple here, and I know that a couple of game changers have as well, if you would indulge me here. Carthanasi, look, basically, he's a dot squad. If you Zeta his leadership, the soldier of the Old Republic, you can actually get a little bit of extra damage there, and you get all those extra little pings and little things that happen in the game. It is sensational. If you're after some more damage, look to Zeta Mission and with me and Big Z forever. It's pretty awesome. Now, look, as the characters get protection and potency and applied dots, I say that cast leadership is much better than Kira if you're looking to run this Scoundrels team. If you're looking at what the team composition is, well, it is Carthanasi, Zalbar, Mission Vow, Canderous Auto, and Juhani. They can actually take down any Bastilla teams, guys. So that was actually found by a couple of game changers, that one. But you can also sub out Juhani for Darth Sidious. This is something that Arnold T101 found. This composition can take down the Night Sisters, so you can save your Imperial Troopers for something else, which is pretty cool. But this one, I've got to do a shout out because he is my boy. He is my heartthrob of the Outer Rim. I love this man. Urzatron, he actually found that with this composition, if you sub out Juhani and put Tusken Shaman in, you get a little bit of story time happening with this one. And it can actually take out the Bosk Bounty Hunter side. And Tusken Shaman can also do a lot of damage with damage over time. He also regenerates health for your entire team. And watching this team in action from Urzatron, the heartthrob of the Outer Rim, I've got to say that he's actually found that it also regenerates health, and it could be a pretty decent composition for P2 of the Sith Raid, with Tusken Shaman helping with the health regeneration and the damage over times and everything else that goes on. Could be an interesting team, so it's something I want to test. I want to gear up my Tusken Shaman just to find out about that one, Paul. So there you go.
Well,
if you're looking at those sorts of sides...
Yeah, the thing is,
they're not meta changing.
Yeah, they're not going to change. But what about? Is there anybody that you might want to put Wampa in there with?
Yeah, I reckon you could possibly put Wampa in for Juhani's slot. That could possibly work, but I feel as if Wampa works better in a Grand Arena lineup or a Territory War lineup where you've got Rex as the lead, and you can throw in the likes of Scarif Rebel Pathfinder and maybe even Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum in that side.
True.
There's some pretty awesome little squads that you can throw together there. And in fact, some of our guys in the Territory Wars, the last one at Yavin, like they said, how do we get through this team? And I said, well, look, how about you just do, Rex and then Wampa? Those two can solo it pretty much, but if you wanted the rest of the composition, I gave them a few options. And then one of the guys in our guild actually turned around and said, man, that was awesome. Everyone else died, but Wampa just absolutely destroyed them. And I said, well, there you go, man. So, Wampa, I feel, works better under Captain Rex lead.
And a turn meter team will get enough cleansing with Ewoks. You'd have enough cleansing and turn meter to be able to get through that. So there's your use for the Ewoks, if not on defense, and if they're not buffed for that war and they're sitting there as defense.
Man, I gotta say that if you come up against an Ewok team on defense in Grand Arena, man, they are tough. They are a tough little bunch of murder bears to take down unless you go mirror matches with them or, look, you have to have a pretty powerful squad to take down the Ewoks. So, they're a good team. They're a very good team. And if you're going to go all out for C-3PO, you may as well gear up your Ewoks. That's all I'm going to say, because they are fantastic. I do like them.
And remember, I'm facing a Night Sister wall, or not wall, but I'm facing Night Sisters, greatly geared. I'm facing Ewoks, and I'm facing a First Order team that is all gold. So I'm a little worried right now how I'm going to do after I get off the air here.
Right, okay. Well, look, your Night Sister team, well, try Carthanasi, with Zalbar, Mission Vow, Canderous Auto, and perhaps even Darth Sidious. They can take down the Night Sisters, so that could be something that you might want to try.
I don't have the Zeta on Big Z. I'm saving that Zeta for Conqueror when Revan comes.
It's an optional Zeta. You don't really need it. Just as long as you've got the Zeta on Karth, I think you should be okay.
Well, again, I spent you know what I did in order to get that 45th star. For those who are going, what did you do? We were like, I think it was 25,000 short. So all the gear, all the Zetas, everything I had saved for that, for us to, for me to have Darth Revan, I spent it to get that 45th star. Lo and behold, somebody who I didn't know didn't deploy said, "Hey, where do you want my 200,000?" I'm going, "You son of a."
Always the way, man. Always the way. But mate, look, Night Sisters, just go Imperial Troopers if you're struggling with Night Sisters. They just take them down. The continuous turn meter that they continue to gain when you take out Night Sister Zombie, then you can take out Dakar, then you take out Asajj, and you just continue to get that turn meter. It is sensational. They're a good team, the Imperial Troopers. I do enjoy playing with them. But mate, we need to talk about how you can win an account remod from Pimpo. Because we are giving you the chance to do this right now. Of course, Pimpo, the mod father, he is the man that we 150% recommend to do your remodding of your accounts. And look, we've got some pretty awesome entries so far, don't we, Paul?
Oh, we do. Some of the ones that I'm absolutely loving. I mean, everybody loves the Zebulon protest one. Sadly, Zebulon, I have to defer. We will find out if you're eligible. He did some of the art for us, and he is one of our people that's in the bullpen, but they don't technically work for us. He's an outside contractor in a way. Can he win? I mean, the fact that he can't afford a remod for 2 reasons, and each of them being one baby that's on the way. Grace Gamer. He didn't want this to be actual footage of his team's post-battle, and he showed us Spaceballs. That was one of my very favorite ones.
And we're a big fan of Spaceballs on here, as you know, with our with the way that we finish the show, guys. So we love Spaceballs.
Yeah. Another one that I did enjoy. There was Zed, who she was not eligible, who wrote a limerick. I mean, as long as it's 25 words or less, tell us why you deserve a remod. We're going to take our 10 favorites. We're all going to vote on them. We're going to take our 10 favorites, and we are going to randomly pick one of those 10 favorites to win a account remod from Pimpo.
Absolutely. So you definitely want to be doing this, guys. Get your 25 words or less happening to win this as well. Now, look, we're also giving you the...
Well, I also wanted to mention, this is not a GP limited remod. Anybody from a Padawan all the way up to the most experienced Sith Master.
And, look, in the words of Mobile Gamer, this is not a scam. So there you go. It's not a scam. But look, we're also giving you guys the chance to introduce the show as well, as you heard at the very beginning as well. You can give your guild a huge plug. If you want to be a part of it and be heard on the Escape Podcast, well, head on over to the show open auditions and put yours in there. There's some pretty good ones in there at the moment, but make sure that you do that as well.
And I'll tell you this, you don't have to be perfect to be able to introduce our show. You listen to us. Some of us are listening to us live, and they've already heard some of the flubs we've made. But you don't have to be perfect to introduce our show. We'll edit you if we need to. We'll ask you privately to do a re-record if we hear your cat meowing in the background or something like that. We would love to showcase you guys, and that's what the Escape Pod is all about. This is not tied to anything except the community.
That's right. And you know what, guys? It is the people's show, the Escape Podcast, and that's what it's about. Now, if you want to be alerted when the Escape Podcasts hosts like myself and Paul jump onto the server, what do we need to do, Paul?
Well, they can sign up for the chats inside of our Discord server. You can sign up for the chats under the room sign up for chats. You go in there, you hit the question mark, type rank, and then chats. No space between question mark and rank, and you'll be added to the tag list whenever, I've got a long trip ahead of me heading down to my weekend job, or, sometimes we'll even do a late night one. We did one of those 2 weeks ago where we're just feeling like, hey, we want to reach out and gauge the temperature. We want to talk to you. As I said, this is your community as much as it is our show. And if you want to just be alerted when we have that time, go into the sign up for chats room under the listener lounge, and we will add you to the list and let you know when we're available.
Absolutely. And look, after shows, we tend to do a bit of a live chat as well, Paul, but what's happening there?
Sorry, you broke up there. I'll edit that out. What was that?
Sorry, mate. After shows, we tend to do live chats for free after the shows. What are we doing there in that space, the live chats?
Well, for currently, after today's show and after the next, let me look at the... I'm pulling a Thaddeus from Going Nerdy and pulling up my calendar on the screen. We've got 3 more shows after today that we are going to be doing live after shows for free. Once those last 3 shows are done, we're going to be moving to a Patreon only after show where you guys can feel free to ask us questions, and we want to hang out with you guys and thank you guys in a way that we can for supporting us through the Patreon. So you can pledge your support today by going to patreon.com/theescapepod. No cast, just the Escape Pod. And join us for live chats free for now. And after April 5th, we'll go to the Patreon only after shows. But remember, the ones I previously talked about, the sign up for chats, we'll do those every so often, and those are always free.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got to also mention as well that, all the funds for the Patreon go towards Paul and his beautiful wife. She's currently going through a rough time with cancer at the moment. So if you can help out in any way, become a Patreon today. You'll also get some great stuff from us, which takes us away from reality for a little while, which is always the way that we need to do things. But Paul, that about wraps us up, mate. And look, it's been another big show today.
It certainly has, and you are true. The reason we called this the Escape Podcast is because this is my escape for a little bit. It's also Christy's escape because she gets to get rid of me for about 2 or 3 hours, so it works out. But yeah, that definitely does wrap it up. Don't forget to check out our previous shows. We have them on YouTube. We have them in the show links. We're still trying to get iTunes right now. If you're hearing this on iTunes, hooray, it's finally fixed. But we're still trying to get iTunes. You can check us out on YouTube. We'll post all of those. And guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back next week with another live show. Hey, Scotty.
Yes, mate.
Push the button.
Don't mind if I do.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gotta be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.